What does it mean to be an artist? An artist, and often talked about concept, but how often do you get to be inside of the mind of an artist to truly understand that you are one as well? Peace, my name is Stacy Patrice. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. And today I want to talk about the process, the creative process, the process of an artist without showing you a single thing other than a concept as illustrated through the interior of my mind. So I've been an artist before I knew the term. I've been an artist since I was a little young one, probably a lot like most people. Before you know a label or a thing or a definition or a boundary, you know a state, you know a curiosity and an interest, something that pulls you toward whatever it is that connects with you, that allows you to express yourself through it. This idea of art is often connected to a final piece, product, expression, when really the entire time we've had it all the way wrong, which is that art is actually a continuum, an energy, a consciousness that expresses itself. And this is the distinction that separates pure creativity from artistry. An artist produces, creates, and often presents. But in the interiors of my mind, an artist is a person who sees a creative ability in everything, not just a creative ability to produce something, but the possibility and the imagination that it takes, and the execution, the skill, the talent, the being conscious at all times to create something that sustains, that ends up being a final form. In other words, when you think about art and you think about how it's commodified, do you ever also think about how it's created? How did we get to the place where indigenous and ancient societies found music? How did that happen? How did music become a thing? How did math become a thing? What about science? What about astrology? What about any of these forms? How did they become a thing? And most often, we realize they became a thing because someone created them. Maybe some people created them. Maybe after they created that thing, that was just the gateway to a whole bunch of new things. And the new things that got created were created to uphold and support and continuously express the first thing. And we see those as just is. We see those as that's how life is, that's the system, that's how it runs. But who created it? How? What was going on that made someone say, we need language, or this is language, or how we approach language could be different? There are peaks of creativity in artistry, of course. But artistry is really about that process that takes things from the way it is to the way it's going to be. It is not just an expression on an already existing timeline or continuum, although it may look like that at the surface. Artistry seeks to change, seeks to not improve as much as enhance. And that enhancement is an addition onto something that already exists that actually changes its appearance, changes its trajectory, changes the way it is. Improvement says we keep the same thing that was there and we allow that thing to grow and to expand and we make tweaks. But an enhancement sometimes can obscure the original thing to the point where you're like, I didn't even know that was possible. Thinking of some things now. And that's the distinction that I make in artistry is, can I enhance a quality of life, a quality of living, the way that things are, the way that things feel, the way that things are understood, known, expressed, enjoyed, experienced? Can I change that? And the answer is yes, as can you. We can all change the way a thing is, the way a thing feels, the experience that other people can have just through our own following of our own curiosity, our own ideas, imagination, trusting our own intuition, our timing. And then those things become something that pick up and take off. And so inside the creative process, there are thoughts and philosophies and beliefs. There are feelings and observations and dreams. And there are these kind of states, which I consider to be like the liminal states of artistry, where you start trying to be a part of something that exists already and trying to see where your expression is in that thing that exists. And then there is a divine happening often where that thing you're creating is rejected as part of that thing that exists. It is, something that people try and call something else, or they try and compare it to something that already exists. And then over time, that moment of invisibility creates something that was not visible. It's not that people get such a joy on rejecting artists. It's that people don't understand what the artist is doing until the artist fully takes it to that artistic skill level. It means the artist is not finished at creativity. The artist has to enhance the form. It has to, in many instances, change the form. I was talking with my son about Outcast yesterday, and, just the impact of people who say, if you're used to hearing music this particular way in this genre, I'm going to show you something else. I have something else I want to say. There's something else that can be done with the art form. There's something else that can be created. And all of the criticism, my goodness, that comes with that visibility of doing something different, doing something that maybe no one else would touch. That's the landmark sign of an artist, is that they touch what most people consider to be untouchable. And when we were talking about it, I was like, now people are catching up, unfortunately, to what Outkast was doing in the 90s and saying we want more of it now. But that's not the job of an artist, is to be a novelty to your awareness as it catches up. It is to open the way. It is to be courageous and audacious to the point where I remember record stores would have music like Outkast in a separate section of the store because they were like, is it hip hop? Is it electronic? What is it? And I remember some certain stores labeling it alternative, which is a whole other thing. Is it rock? Some stores had it as rock. These are back in the days where you would go to the store and get your CDs and get your vinyl. And that was the only practice, the tape, the CD, the vinyl. So seeing it categorized, I don't know what it's categorized as today. I would imagine it's hip hop. If you go into a streaming service, I would imagine it says hip hop. Sometimes it might say rock hip hop or electronic hip hop. I'm not sure. Maybe it says alternative. I don't know. But I remember people scrambling, trying to figure out where it belongs in the store. Where does it fit? And I remember having to search for it because it wasn't with hip hop like the way that I thought it would be. I'm saying all of that to say that sometimes your artistry can challenge the people who are so sure to tell you no, that the thing that you are creating is defying the thing that they understand and that they create. And therefore, they have to come over to your side because your art is speaking something new. It is enhancing understanding, awareness, lifestyle, livelihood, expression. It is not playing by the rules. It is saying there's something else. It's going beyond, beyond. It looks like an improvement on the surface for sure. But when I say enhance, I mean just like the way that people enhance all other things. They make them bigger than the form that it would normally be encapsulated inside of. And so I just want to start by saying this. I'll probably do more videos about this, but what it feels like to be an artist is to be working in a space in solitude and often alone, listening to the visions. Yes, listening to the visions that come to you, the words, the mind, the dream, watching the movie play on the screen inside of your mind, watching people's behavior in retrospect, hearing the cheers and the applause at some point for what it is creating, or if you're not quite there, hearing silence. It is like sensory overload in the best of ways. You tap into a current, a spiritual current that is constantly beckoning you and calling you into a practice. And when you are in that practice, you are not of the world in the same way. You are not just where everyone else is doing what everyone else is doing. You lose time. Oh, you lose time. As a person who is created in what most people would consider multiple genres, which to me is just art, you lose a lot of time, especially in those things that require a process. If you're a filmmaker, a painter, um, if you're drawing with great detail, your animator, um, definitely the illustrators, definitely anything that requires you to work with your hands. Even if you're a choreographer, you're working with the body. There's so many levels of process. That's one way you can know the difference between art and creativity. Creativity is kind of like an idea that you launch, whereas art is more of the current that is your life, constantly speaking to you in different forms. And that's the part that feels amazing and exceptional to me. And, having that perspective as you work through things, I think that's important. So everything is an art form. You have to do your best not to let the outside in. When I am working and who I follow and what platform is very specific. There are friends and people I converse with regularly, and I don't see their feeds. And it's because I am working on something that has me drawn somewhere else. It doesn't mean that I don't like who they are. It means that maybe sometimes what they're saying has the chance to interfere with the current that I'm in. So then I need to close current in order to keep it as a circuit where everything is flowing smoothly and not pay attention to outside distractions. So sometimes when you're sending me things, I'm not reading them. I'm not watching them. I'm not paying attention to them because they take me out of my current. They may be a current that you're in, and maybe you thought of me to send it to, but it might take me out of my current because it is not current with me, right? Might be something that I was in the current of 10, 12 years ago, much like Outcast, right? Like you want to talk about it now, but it's not in my current. It's kind of like way back there. And now this thing that I'm working on is so in the forefront that I can't tap into the outside perspectives and the outside world, right? So we work through things, artists, we work through things at a pace that is often not visible. We have so much labor in the creation of things. We definitely need time to perfect our crafts, work on our practice, let our ideas speak through our hands and our voice and our senses, and get into the zone that says, there is something forming inside of me, and I'm working on a form, no matter how long it takes. I am working on a form. And I do that because people often rush artists for their own commodification and gratification, never understanding that the reason why the things that you are looking for from that artist are the things you're looking for is because everyone else just threw something together and put it out. So you're really harping on that artist to create something and quickly, not understanding that the quickness that you want it with, the convenience that you want it with, is not part of the process. And thus, you only get the whole thing when it's fully baked. We're not giving you raw dough and calling it a new creation. It's dough. When we start to bake, we are creating a whole thing, a holistic thing, a circular thing. And I think that's so important to say. It's a distinction. So those things that can be quick will, creativity can be quick. You can get a flash of insight. You can get ooh, that'd be a great idea. Let me go do that now. Ooh, I can put together this person's creation and this person's creation and make my own. That's creativity. Art, different. You're always in the process, and wherever you are is always in the process. So if you are nowhere or if you are with everyone, that art typically is not finished. So it is you working through it. And then when you present it, you are presenting your art. In my instance, with healing art that I've been doing over the years, over the past decade plus, offering healing art to people was not an idea, at least in my city, was not an idea that people understood. And I know that from the immense amount of people who talked to me about it, who questioned me about it, who gossiped about it, who discredited it, as well as people who created dissertations on it for major universities across the country. Several, the Harvards, the U of Cs, in other HBCUs as well. So I want you to know that your art, no matter how you present it, is a work in process. It is almost like your own dissertation. What is your voice saying? And give us the full length. Do not give us a piece of a performance. Give us the full, unfiltered, potent, colorful, magnificent, audacious, gregarious, intuitive, spiritual, inner truth through what you are creating. And please make it a lifestyle. That, my friends, is an art and an artist and the life of an artist. Please leave your comments below, like, share, subscribe. Share this video, remix this video. When you start to think about the things that you are creating and the aspects of your life that are at work and what people do or don't understand about you as an artist, or whether you are discovering through this video that you are indeed an artist, or whether if you're like, you know what, I'm comfortable being a creative, not so much an artist, please comment below and I look forward to talking with you in the comments. Until the next one, my name is Stacy Patrice. Peace.